Hi, one question that people have: what is the difference between web development and web design? Indeed, it's confusing for most of people. So in this video I will explain the difference, the requirements for each one of them, and the salary for web designer and web developer. So let's get into it. In a nutshell, web design refers to a aesthetic portion of the website-like shape, like buttons, slideshow, login and sign-up forms, which use Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator and some other designing softwares to create the layout of the website. On the other hand, web development makes the design becomes true, using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and some other web programming languages. So web designer create the design and web developer make it becomes true. So let we take a close look on each one of them. Web designers begin by taking the client's opinion and what is suitable for them, then start creating the wireframes, and finally the designing stage. So the web designer should make balance between colors, font styles, images to create the best layout for the website. But on the other hand, web developer take this design and build a fully functioning website using HTML, CSS, JavaScript and its frameworks, and PHP if it needs a server. But HTML create the structure of the website, and JavaScript make the website dynamic, add the interactivity for this website. Okay, maybe now one of you tell me, I agree with you, but how can I decide to be a web developer or designer? What are the requirements for each one of them? So let us see the requirements for each one of them, starting with web design. So web designer need a graphic design skills, like using Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator and other visual design wireframing. Also, you should be familiar with HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and also some other skills, like choosing colors, font styles, and have a good user experience skills. This means that you should have the sense of what people will feel when they use your website. Always think like you are a client, to make something easy to use, not complicated. Let me now move to web development. So according to a web developer, of course you have to be familiar with HTML, CSS, and have a good skills in JavaScript, and one or two of its frameworks, like jQuery or React. And when it comes to server side, you should learn PHP, Python, .NET, and database languages like MySQL or SQL. Indeed, web development divided into two parts, front-end and back-end. Front-end developer, the one responsible for making the layout for the website, and of course make it dynamic using JavaScript. But back-end developer who cares about data storing in databases using PHP or .NET. Finally, let us see the salary for each one of them. Let us see the salary for web designer and web developer. So I will use Glassdoor website. And here let me search for web designer, and here we want salaries, and let me select, for example, USA, New York. Let me search. So here is the average salary, 64K per year. This is the average for web designer. Let me search for the average for web developer. And this is the average salary for web developer. And like I told you, web development divided into front end and back end. And also there is another one called full stack, which combine between both of them. He can work as front end and back end. So that's everything about the difference between web developer and web designer. So good luck and see you next time.